hours. And the resumption of a blockade in Hormuz is a possibility. Listen to this.
But they launched a couple of drones and one rocket, one missile, and at ships, because they were in the strait, which they have every right to be. And so we hit them very hard last night. Very, very hard. Probably hit them hard again tonight. I'll give them a little warning. We're going to hit them hard tonight. But we'll see how it all works out. No, I'm not happy with them, you know.
Donald Trump launched a scathing attack on Iran even during a meeting and media interaction with the NATO chief by his side. The comment slamming Iran came hours after the US military carried out strikes across several parts of Iran. And responding to a question on whether the MOU and ceasefire is dead, the US president said that from his side, it is. When it comes to the issues within the NATO as such, the US president again said that Washington has been unfairly treated by its NATO allies. To the American president's long-drawn concern, the NATO chief basically highlighted the bloc's actions to increase defense spending with more involvement from other member countries.
So there is complete commitment to NATO. But hey, there's also an expectation. And the expectation was and is that the Europeans and the Canadians will equalize their spending with the United States, which I think, and many of the colleagues in the room today think, is completely fair. Now,
the leaders of 23 member states are in Turkey not just for the summit, but also for the Defense Industry Forum being held alongside the main event. The inter-alliance budget sharing in defense remains a sticking point, not just for Washington, but also, of course, for the European counterparts who are being pushed to commit a significant part of their country's GDP to the NATO's budget. How much of that pledge is actually realized by the end of the summit is the big question. But then the bigger question is also if all the other discussions will get overshadowed by the resumption of the war in West Asia. Let's go straight across now to Dr. Charles Kupchand, Senior Fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, with us on the broadcast for more on this. Thanks very much for being here. A number of things to dissect here. First of all, let's just talk about...
I'm David DeBrush. Dr. Kupchand's on the other screen.
All right. Apologize for that. But let me just ask you for your assessment on what we have seen unfold so far at the NATO summit. A number of things that have come up. First of all, to do with Trump's concerns that he has reiterated about the NATO allies not doing enough. And then we have the concerns about the Iran war resumption possibility overshadowing the NATO summit discussions and what's at stake.
Yeah, good question. So first off, American presidents going back to Eisenhower have been concerned about our allies not doing enough. They clearly are underinvesting in their defense and have. They've basically built an expansive welfare state underneath that's been subsidized by American military protection. There's nothing new there. What is new is that when President Trump says we can't support you indefinitely, they believe him. So Secretary General Ruta has spoken about the Trump trillion, the increase in NATO expenditure. And of course, the guy who's really bolstered NATO is Vladimir Putin. By his invasion of Ukraine, he caused the Swedes to abandon 400 years of neutrality and join the alliance, and the Finns to abandon 70 years of neutrality and join the alliance. And they brought significant military capability there. So I think the alliance is strong. The next question would be about the war in Western Asia, if that will distract. I think it won't. NATO is seized and has its hands full with particularly the allies in the former Soviet bloc, who were once colonies of the Soviet Union, i.e. Russia. They are very concerned that what they see in Ukraine might unfold in Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, or even Poland. And so they will remain focused on that. And I think that will be the case for some time. I think this is viewed as an American issue and with possibly some vestigial or sideline NATO issues.
All right, but what happens here onwards is the immediate question, because, while we see these discussions taking place and whether or not there will be any resolution in the coming future when it comes to these friction points, but we are also looking at what's unfolding over the next few hours, for example, with Trump's warning of resuming the attacks on Iran, also talking about the possibility of the blockade at the Strait of Hormuz resuming. So to what extent do we see the position as far as Trump's standing is concerned actually being affected on that front?
Well, I think that many of the NATO leaders, particularly in what Donald Rumsfeld used to call old NATO, the Western European, they do not like Trump. They resent him. They don't like him personally. And Trump is extremely unpopular with the people who vote in Western Europe. But at the end of the day, that doesn't matter because the United States is such a critical contributor to NATO manpower and to NATO military capabilities. There are some capabilities, for example, NATO's defenses against Iranian ballistic missiles. The defenses that defend Europe are entirely American. There is no European contribution to that at all. So there is, they might resent it, but quite frankly, they haven't conducted the sustained level of defense investment over generations that the United States has done in Europe. Not just in the United States, but in Europe. So, they have the resentment, but they have to swallow it and drive on. And they have moved towards Trump's positions.
All right, we're leaving it there for the moment. Thanks very much for being here on the broadcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shifting focus now to France. It's heading for that presidential election in April 2027, but the race for power there has already started. The far-right National Rally leader Marine Le Pen has announced her candidature. In fact, Le Pen's announcement coming after her conviction in the EU fake job scam. The National Rally leader's appeal was overturned, remember, but the court reduced the suspension on Le Pen from running for public office. The ban on the leader was brought down from 45 months to 15 months, opening the doors for her to start that presidential campaign. Earlier, Marine Le Pen said she would not launch her presidential bid if the court's decision restricts her from running an effective campaign. The appeals court shortened her prison sentence from 3 years to 1 year. And she will have to serve this sentence at home with an electronic bracelet. Marine Le Pen has refused to accept her conviction, remember, and challenged it in the highest appeals court. While the court examines her appeal, Marine Le Pen will be able to campaign without an electronic tag.
I am lodging an appeal because I am innocent of the acts I am accused of, and I am referring the matter to the Court of Cassation to put before it a legal issue that is an extremely serious one. But I would remind you that the Court of Appeal restored my eligibility. I am therefore currently eligible.
Marine Le Pen's prodigy and her potential successor, Jordan Bardella, said he is happy to join Marine Le Pen's campaign.
We handled it very well, and I am extremely happy that we can start campaigning with Marine because millions of French people today are waiting for change. They are waiting for a jolt after 10 years of Emmanuel Macron, which have done considerable damage to our country.
Le Pen has tried and failed to win the presidency 3 times. 2027 will be her 4th campaign for the French presidency. Majority of the polls are showing that the far-right leader is the closest to clinch victory, making her presidential campaign pivotal for the French far-right. And reacting to the court's verdict and Le Pen's decision, the people of Paris gave out mixed reactions. Some called her a political phoenix, while some said a convicted individual should not run for public office.
They are in a mindset where she's the victim of a system and she's a phoenix, that she's going to rise from the ashes. That's all we've been hearing for the past 24 hours. Maybe that'll happen, who knows. But they're also placing a bet on the future.
In principle, anyone who has been convicted of anything should not be allowed to stand in presidential elections, in any elections, and certainly not presidential elections, because they are supposed to set an example for France, an example for the citizens of France. Well, this is not the example we want to set.
And for more on this, let's go straight across to Ross Cullen joining us on the broadcast from Paris. A lot to unpack here, Ross, but just help our viewers understand what the sentiment really overall has been like through all of this, with Marine Le Pen now announcing that she will be running for office. But of course, what the road ahead will look like is the immediate question.
It was a surprise that on Tuesday evening, Marine Le Pen announced that she was going to run in the presidential election, despite being found guilty twice of embezzlement and sentenced to 3 years in jail, 2 years of which are suspended, 1 year spent wearing an electronic tag. And I was also surprised to hear that she is going to France's highest court, the Court of Cassation, to try to get those 2 guilty verdicts and her sentence overturned. The prosecution could also go to France's highest court to try to increase her sentence, which was reduced on Tuesday. She says that she's going to be running on a joint ticket with Jordan Bardella, her 30-year-old National Rally Party president, to try to win the presidency for the 4th time. But, of course, she will be doing so, trying to do so, as a twice convicted criminal.
All right, we're leaving it there for the moment. Ross, thanks very much for joining us with those updates. Of course, we will be keeping a close eye on the latest coming in. All right, shifting focus to the United States now, where the Democratic Party is facing a major scandal ahead of the November midterms. The focus basically is on the Senate race of a northeastern state, which is considered to be a stronghold of the Democratic Party. As such, the Senate candidate of the Democratic Party from Maine has been accused of sexual misconduct. A woman claiming to be Plattner's former partner has accused him of assaulting her in a drunken state. Plattner has denied the allegation, but at the same time, he is said to be thinking about the best path forward for his campaign. A military veteran, Plattner secured Democratic ticket for the Senate on the 2nd of July. He secured over 72% votes in the primary election. But because of the allegations against him, several Democrat heavyweights are now asking him to drop out of the race. And these include the New York Mayor, Zoran Mamdani, and the Vermont Senator, Bernie Sanders, as well. Mamdani has asked Plattner to drop out of the race while clarifying that he never endorsed him for the Maine primaries.
I believe that it's time for him to drop out of the race. And when it comes to my own endorsements, I've made 8 endorsements at the state and federal level. They've all been right here in New York City. I'm incredibly excited at the fact that they won their races, and that's where my focus is for now.
Bernie Sanders, who openly backed Plattner, is also asking him to step aside. Apart from these two, the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and the Senator Elizabeth Warren also asked him to withdraw from the race. Time is of crucial importance for the Democrats. Plattner has until the 13th of July to withdraw from the race, which is a deadline set by Maine Secretary of State for the withdrawal of candidacies from the upcoming midterm elections. Democrats are already mulling over the possible candidates to replace Plattner. These names include former President of the Maine Senate, Head of Public Health in Maine, Maine Secretary of State. All 3 frontrunners fell short of securing their candidacy for Maine's governor race. All right, so this definitely is going to be closely watched for the immediate ramifications that this really has when it comes to the on-ground sentiment as well. And we will be monitoring those developments.
It was a
What started out as a disagreement over medical treatment has now snowballed into a major political controversy in Maharashtra. CCTV footage from a hospital in Mumbai showing Shiv Sena corporator and several supporters allegedly confronting doctors, nurses, hospital staff. Here's a detailed report. Take a look.
A dispute over the treatment of a newborn patient has escalated into a criminal investigation in Mumbai's Dombivli area. The confrontation at a hospital turned into a physical assault on doctors, and it was captured on CCTV. At the center of this footage is corporator Ramesh Mahatre of the Shiv Sena Shinde faction. Police say the violence prompted the registration of an FIR against the corporator and several others. The incident has triggered protests across KDMC hospitals. Doctors, nurses and healthcare workers suspended OPD services while continuing emergency and critical care. They say that attacks on healthcare workers are becoming increasingly frequent and have demanded immediate arrests along with stronger security inside hospitals. Police have arrested 3 of the accused so far. However, the main accused, Shiv Sena corporator Ramesh Mahatre, remains absconding. According to police officials, efforts are still underway to trace and arrest him. The assault has also intensified the political battle. Shiv Sena UBT leader Aditya Thackeray visited the hospital, met protesting doctors and nurses and demanded strict action against those responsible.
I've asked the government and I've asked the Chief Minister to take action, not only to arrest that corporator but also to disqualify him from the post, arrest him and parade him across Dombivli and Kalyan so that everybody knows that you cannot attack anybody like this, especially a doctor or a nurse.
Facing mounting criticism, corporator Mahatre expressed regret over the incident. However, he denied assaulting the woman doctor, saying that the CCTV footage does not show the complete sequence of events.
Whatever incident took place, first of all, I express my regret for that. And I assertively state here that I did not raise my hand against the female doctor. Whatever is appearing in the CCTV footage might be due to the angle of the camera. She was continuously speaking on the phone and was not listening to our request. And that's why I told her to put her phone aside, first take her complaint or listen to her complaint. That's all I said to her.
The explanation, however, has done little to quell the outrage.
What began as a fight has now evolved into a major flashpoint in Maharashtra, with the opposition demanding accountability and doctors demanding stronger legal protection. All eyes are now firmly on 2 aspects. One, the police response, and secondly, how the Maharashtra government will be able to secure and benefit the state's medical community in the longer run. This is Disha reporting here for WION from Mumbai.
Former West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is turning the heat on the state's BJP government. She is leading the protest march against the state government after an alleged rape and murder of a girl in the state. In fact, Mamata Banerjee accused the BJP workers of disrupting a rally organized by the Trinamool Congress. According to the former Chief Minister, BJP supporters repeatedly obstructed the rally, raised slogans, attempted to block the procession by forming human barricades along the route. Both sides also engaged in clashes, prompting the police to take action to bring the situation under control. Addressing supporters after the march, Mamata Banerjee questioned how the police could allow the rally to be disrupted despite a permission given by the court.
They have beaten the women, they have beaten the boys, girls and senior persons. The message came to me that our IT cell chairman was get out by them and she's been beaten. That's why I started to go to the spot to rescue her. If it is going on, where is the law? Totally lawlessness is going on. Even it is more than UP. When police knows there is a High Court order, how they violate the High Court order? It will be contempt of court.
The main accused in the rape and murder case has been killed in a police encounter. Police said he attempted to snatch a weapon from the police and tried to open fire at them. The police fired back in retaliation, resulting in the accused being killed. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Race to Power. This is me, Molly Gambhir, signing off. We're taking a short break. Stay tuned.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
The stress of our world can take a toll on our physical and emotional health. Here, in New York's Catskill Mountains, lies a luxurious place of healing called WION Wellness Center. The WION Wellness Center provides 500,000 square feet of natural methods to manage diabetes, hypertension, chronic pain, obesity, depression, anxiety, and other conditions. We use the traditions of centuries-old natural science from India, yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy in personalized programs that help you take charge of your own health. A minimum 5-day stay is recommended for best results. Book now at yo1.com.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION, The World is One.
Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION.